Mushihimesama. Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus, bringing you the Chef's Choice in weekly gaming news. So there's some interesting news this week, some company lowlights as well as some announcement highlights. So that being the case, let's get cooking and jump right in, shall we? So first off, we've got one that I definitely consider a highlight. Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky second chapter's localization was originally announced by Xseed back in September of 2013. It was supposed to go and be released in 2014. They were targeting summer, but that didn't go and happen. The title kept on going and getting delayed and delayed. And here it is, October of 2015, and we finally went and got an announcement that the title is going and releasing for the PSP as well as the Vita and Steam on October 29th, 2015. So for those of you that have gone and played the first title and are itching to go and get your hands on the second title, it's finally here. Well, it will be here. And for those of you who are interested in a good classic JRPG experience, this is definitely a good one to go and check out. It's if it's not possible for you to go and play it on the PSP or the Vita, with it being available on Steam, that should go and definitely open up a lot more opportunities for you, as well as possibly holding out for some discounts on it. But there we go and have it. Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky second chapter going and coming out October 29th, 2015. Hopefully there's a chance that we might still go and get third chapter, but at this point, seeing as it's been taking so long to go and bring second chapter out as well, I don't think that's likely to go and happen, which is disappointing. But at least in December, we are going and getting another Legend of Heroes title in Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel, going and coming out in mid-December. So if you're a JRPG fan, definitely look forward to that one as well. So, going and moving down our announcement list, we've got yet another interesting announcement. So, I went and mentioned after the Tokyo Game Show that Yoru No Naikuni from Gust had gotten like an announcement for an English localization. Well, we finally go and have a release date for that, at least in the Europe territories. So this past weekend was MCM London Comic Con, and Koei Tecmo went and had a booth there. And at their booth, they went and had banners for both Yoru No Naikuni and Atelier Esca and Logi Plus for the Vita. The former, or rather, sorry, Atelier Esca and Logi for the Plus for the Vita is going to go and come out in January, but Yoru No Naikuni is going to go, instead of being titled the really literal English translation Land of No Night, is going to go and be titled Knights of Azure, which I think is definitely a better English title than Land of No Night. I would have had rather they kept with the original Japanese, but I can totally understand them going that direction. So I like the title, Knights of Azure. It definitely goes and has a good ring to it. Anyway, that's going to go and be releasing in Europe for the PlayStation 4 on April 4th, 2016. And as I mentioned, Atelier Esca and Logi Plus is going to go and be releasing for the Vita in January 2016 for the Europe territories. No news yet on the NA release dates, but if the usual Koei Tecmo trend goes and holds, they should go and be really close. So hopefully we'll go and get official announced dates for North American release dates as well. But for right now, it's awesome to go and know that those ones are only just a handful of months away. Moving down our list, we go and hit one of the items that I feel is a little bit more of a lowlight. So this is some information about the PlayStation Vita going and coming from a senior vice president from Sony. It was an interview conducted by 4Gamer, a Japanese video game news site, with Sony Computer Entertainment senior vice president Masayasa Ito. So in that interview, Ito goes and states that as it stands, our first-party studios have no games in development for PlayStation Vita. With third parties working diligently on PlayStation Vita, our strategy is to focus on the PlayStation 4, which is a new development platform. This is very disappointing news to go and hear that Sony doesn't have any core titles going and being developed by any of their first-party studios for the Vita itself. The Vita is such a great console, one that I've gone and enjoyed so much since I've gone and picked one up, and to go and hear that Sony is going and discontinuing support of it in favor of going and just working on their home console and really just going and leaving it high and dry, is disappointing to go and say the very least. It'd be like if Nintendo were to go and abandon one of their platforms, the Wii U or the 3DS, you could definitely go and see how that would go and hurt the system. Admittedly, a lot of the best titles for the Vita are third-party titles, but at the same time, there have been a lot of good first-party titles as well. If the Vita does manage to go the way of the PlayStation Portable, we should go and see some good quality third-party titles going and coming out for it for some time yet. In fact, as far as the PSP is concerned, it's still not done as well, with new titles going and coming out both in the United States, with titles like Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky releasing, next week, or rather this week, and even titles further out. But still, it's sad to go and think that we might already go in and seeing the sun going and setting on the PlayStation Vita. I'll definitely hang on to mine for a long time yet and continue playing it. And if you haven't gone and looked into one, I would definitely go and recommend it. There's definitely a lot of titles that I could go and suggest on it. So if you ever have any questions or seeking some recommendations, by all means, hit me up in the comments below. I'd love to go and throw some your way. Okay, moving on to our next item. This is some interesting Konami news. So, the first item, reported on Monday via the New Yorker, so a rather reputable news site, was going and reporting that Hideo Kojima was formally quit and left Konami as of October 9th, going and citing that there was even a farewell party held for him at the company itself. The very next day, Konami went and fired back, going and saying that he was still he was still employed at Konami, listing him as a company employee, and that he was just on vacation after finishing up development on Metal Gear Solid 5. This is definitely some silly news, going and seeing the back and forth there. And even in regards to the farewell party, which there are pictures that have gone and come out on the net for this party, they go and state that they don't know what that thing was. How do you not go and know what a farewell party for one of your most celebrity producers is? I don't know. It's so ridiculous to go and think that even in this day and age, Konami is still going and trying to go and hold all of its secrets so close to itself and deny the truth that is so plain and obvious to go and see. Hopefully we'll definitely know the truth of the matter come December, when, if rumors are correct, that's when Kojima's non-compete clause in his contract with Konami goes and ends, and he'll be able to go and begin on working on other titles, as well as hopefully go and talk about this whole mess with Konami itself, as he's probably the one that goes and knows the most about the situation, obviously. Aside from that, there's also another little piece of Konami news that I also go and have in this block, and that's Konami went and announced a new Bomberman this week for mobile. Next. That brings us to our last item for this week, and this one's definitely one that I consider super exciting news. So I mentioned a few weeks back that Cave was going and looking at bringing several shoot-em-ups to Steam, and it was going and starting this winter with one title. That title going and being Mushihimesama, and now that has a release date. Mushihimesama from Cave is going to go and be releasing on Steam on November 5th, 2016, so just a couple weeks away at this point. And this will be the first of hopefully many of Cave's great library of shoot-em-ups going and hitting the Steam service. So I'm definitely looking forward to going and enjoying yet more bullet hell action, and I hope you are as well. Well, that'll go and just about wrap it up for the weekly gaming news. I want to thank you so much for coming out and joining me today. If there are other news stories that you go and hear about during the week that I should go and report about, by all means, definitely go and leave those in the comments below, or any other suggestions about my news program that you go and have. I'd love to go and hear from you as well. Thank you so much for coming out and seeing us this week, and we'll see you again next week.